Recall Daniel 8's ram and he-goat. Two choices: children of the ram or children of the he-goat. Recall that the he-goat is Azazel, of the Day of Atonement, the devil. Return into the two choices, children of the ram or children of the he-goat. Recall that both the he-goat and the little horn destroy in a similar manner. They cast their victims down to the ground and stamp upon them. Like father, like son? Lucifer and the little horn. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation, in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Isaiah 14:12-14. And he shall magnify himself in his heart. Daniel 8:25. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host. And by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. Daniel 8:10-11. Notice that it says of Lucifer that his fall started in thine heart. But we are told a similar thing concerning the little horn, that it started in his heart. But Daniel 8:25 is the angelic interpretation of the following. Daniel 8:10, etc. Daniel 8:25 says specifically that he, the little horn, shall magnify himself in his heart. So this is a thing of pride for the little horn. Pride. That is certainly Lucifer's problem also. Now to analyze the details of both Lucifer and the little horn's pride. Of Lucifer we read that he desired to ascend into heaven. Thoughts which are mirrored by the little horn, which in pride waxed great to heaven. How do we know that it was in pride that he waxed great and not in reality? Because as we mentioned, Daniel 8:25 in his heart, that is in pride, is the interpretation of Daniel 8:10. This is emphasized by the fact that magnify himself 8:25 and waxed great 8:10 are underlyingly the same Hebrew. Thus it waxed great even to the host of heaven would have been better translated as it magnified itself even to the host of heaven. Of Lucifer we also read that he desired to exalt himself above the stars. He wanted to rule over or subjugate the stars. A sentiment mirrored by the little horn, who dominates the stars by casting them down to the ground and stamping upon them. Isaiah 14:12-14 mentions a mount of the congregation. What is this? To understand what this is making reference to, we must look at the Jerusalem of Bible times. A comparison with Psalm 48:2 reveals the mount of the congregation to be Mount Zion, the mount upon which Jerusalem is built. Isaiah continues with, in the sides of the north. What is in the sides of the north of Mount Zion? The temple. And this is where Lucifer desires to establish himself, in the north. But the little horn has a similar desire, and is in fact established in the north, for we see him arise out of the north horn. Finally, of Lucifer we read that he has grandiose ambitions, for he thinks, I will be like the Most High. But the little horn has similar ambitions as he magnifies himself, lifts himself in pride, even to the prince of the host. If we understand the prince of the host to be God the Son. Recall that in the sides of the north is a reference to the temple, and so Lucifer's fall involves a desecration of the temple. But this is also the case with the little horn, who is established in the north, for we read that the place of the sanctuary is cast down. Clearly, there is a connection between the fall of Lucifer and the little horn's waxed great to the host of heaven, its prideful rise up to or against heaven. After all, the texts bear too much in common. But what clearly is this connection? Lucifer and the little horn, to be like God. Note, our Bible text will not be read serially from start to finish, but in a manner that highlights their structure. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. Note, don't miss the parallel imagery or idea of ascending into heaven, ascending above the heights of the clouds. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. What is this mount of the congregation in the sides of the north? As we saw previously, the mount of the congregation is Mount Zion, and in the sides of the north of Mount Zion is the location of Solomon's temple. Thus the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north is a reference to the temple. But what throne would be associated with the temple? The ark. For God said, And there I will meet with thee, and I will commune with thee from above the mercy seat, from between the two cherubims, which are upon the ark of the testimony. Exodus 25:22. I will be like the Most High. Isaiah 14:12-14. I cannot emphasize this enough. Don't miss the parallel thought here. That of sitting on the ark, God's throne, in his temple, and being like the Most High. We will now see that the little horn, Antichrist, as presented in 2 Thessalonians 2, has these same satanic Luciferian characteristics. That man of sin, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God. Notice both Lucifer and the little horn, Antichrist, speak of sitting in God's throne in his temple, shewing himself that he is God. 2 Thessalonians 2:3-4. Notice, both Lucifer and the little horn, Antichrist, speak of being like the Most High, or shewing others that they are God. Both Lucifer and the little horn, the Antichrist, want to be like God. They want to sit in his throne, in his temple, and have his power, but not his character. Don't miss this. Both Lucifer and the little horn are planning theocide, the murder of God. Both desire God's throne, and how can one obtain what is not one's own except that one is willing to take extreme measures to get it? The devil was a murderer from the beginning. John 8:44. Any actual proof of this? Recall Lucifer and the little horn, the parallels between Isaiah 14:12-14 and Daniel 8. Recall that the Most High parallels the Prince of the Host, for the Prince of the Host is God, God the Son. Proof of Lucifer's planned theocide is then the crucifixion of Christ, the murder of the ram by the he-goat, the attempted murder of God, the Son, by the devil. Attempted because all he could kill was the man, not the God, and therefore could not stop Christ's resurrection. But the little horn was involved in this murder or attempted murder in type. Recall the little horn power of 2 Thessalonians 2. One of his names is Son of Perdition. a title of Judas, the accomplice of the devil in the murder of Christ. None of them is lost but the son of perdition. John 17:12.